Hello and welcome to our Education Today, where we interview real teachers to talk about real problems. Our special guest this morning is Septima Poinsette Clark, a native South Carolinian aiming to provide equal rights for all teachers. She has traveled all around the country to teach and make strides in the civil rights movement. I am pleased to welcome Miss Septima Poinsette Clark.
Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. Good morning. How do you do?
Very well, thank you. I certainly do appreciate you being with us this morning.
Yes, I was just traveling through to Hickory, North Carolina, my husband's hometown, to visit some of our family.
Oh, how nice. Well, this morning I look forward to getting to know you better as we dive deep into what your life was like as an African American teacher and activist during the early 1900s. So tell me, how did your experience with slavery influence your desire to become a teacher?
Well, my daddy was a slave for Mr. Poinsette down in Charleston all his growing up years. He wanted a better life for me and knew that education would be the only way that could happen. My daddy wanted me to be able to read and write so I could make a difference, you know? After I had my education, I wanted other African Americans to have that same freedom. That's when I knew I was supposed to be a teacher.
Yes, I see. Education is a very powerful tool. When you decided to be a teacher, how did your race affect where you were able to teach?
Well, I was living in Charleston at the time, and you see, Charleston didn't hire no African American teachers for the public school. I was able to find a job down at Johns Island in 1916 and later moved back to teach at Avery Normal Institute, a private school down in Charleston. My dream was for me and other African Americans to be able to teach wherever we wanted.
What a sweet thing it must have been to see that dream come true as a result of your work with the NAACP. What effect would you say your teaching African Americans to read and write have on our nation?
By teaching African Americans to read and write, they could vote now. See, that changed the whole show. You had to be literate to vote. So now I saw people of my own skin color being able to have an impact on our nation.
Literacy is the key to a successful nation, isn't it, Mrs. Clark? Why did you personally become so passionate about African Americans being able to vote?
I became passionate about African Americans being able to vote because I knew that'd be our only chance for change to start happening. Because of this, I started up citizenship programs that prepared African Americans to prepare themselves for the civil duties they needed to achieve.
And to believe you have done all of this in your own lifetime. What a difference you have made. I have one last question here for you, and that is, what do you think would have happened had you never decided to teach and fight for African Americans' rights to vote?
Well, I like to think that the good Lord would have found somebody else to do the work, but you see, I'm glad He chose me. I like to think that somehow my efforts have made a difference. My daddy always wanted to see me rise above the slavery and inequality that my heritage has experienced. I like to think that we sure have come a long way.
Yes, that is certainly true, and you have certainly made a remarkable difference in the lives of many, including Rosa Parks. I want to thank you very much for joining us here today on Education Today.
You're very welcome. I was glad to do it.
Today, you have heard the story of one teacher who aimed to impact one life, but actually impacted thousands. Join us again tomorrow to find out how a teacher just like you can make a difference in your nation.
Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun.